Remember Martin Shkreli? He's the weaselly little spoiled rich kid who made headlines about a year ago. I want to show you what happened to him now. CNBC says, Pharma bro Martin Shkreli sentenced to 7 years in prison. Says, this is my fault. And they explain, convicted fraudster Martin Shkreli is sentenced for securities fraud related to 2 hedge funds he ran and to his former drug company, Retrofin. The notorious Pharma bro gained infamy for raising the price of the drug Daraprim by more than 5,000% while running the company then known as Turing Pharmaceuticals. Shkreli already has been ordered to forfeit almost $7.4 million and give up his ownership of a one-of-a-kind Wu-Tang Clan album because of his crimes. So Shkreli was also convicted last August for conspiring to fraudulently manipulate stock shares of Retrofin. And I want to read you this little portion of the article. It's my favorite part of the article because it shows you the way that they bend over backwards to do the framing in the article when you're talking about somebody who's wealthy. They say, a number of those witnesses testified to Shkreli's brilliance or even genius, as well as to his tendency toward depression and self-sabotage. They called Shkreli a very unique defendant who is, quote, kind, caring, and generous person who uses his time and effort to help those in need. If not warehoused in prison, Martin Shkreli could literally save lives, Shkreli's lawyers wrote in their sentencing recommendation. Now, you and I might read this portion and go, why the fuck are you putting this in here? We all know what this guy did. We all know how he's a terrible person. But they got to put that in there. Why do they put that in there? Because they at least have to make it like a 50-50 kind of question when you're dealing with a defendant with money. By the way, go back. The same kinds of things were written about Bernie Madoff. Oh, Bernie, he did some fucked up things, but man, he sure was brilliant and he sure had a lot of potential. Now, compare that to your common criminal who might go rob from a convenience store. You know, are they hedging in those articles like, well, hey, this person, although they had some problems, ultimately, brilliant person, really kind to their family, usually did the right thing and just stumbled upon some hard times and found himself in the wrong situation. No! It's nothing but condemnation for certain kinds of criminals, and other criminals get the nuanced treatment, the 50-50 treatment, and Martin Shkreli is getting that 50-50 treatment. Now, what's really interesting about this is, and many commenters on Twitter pointed this out, they said, well, hold on now. So the thing he was guilty of was not any crime involving the jacking up of life-saving medicine 5,000%. He wasn't found guilty of that. There was no crime committed there. They're like, yeah, no, that's the market. Free market, bro. That's the market at work. And then you stop and you think about it and you go, oh my goodness, that's right. That's not why he was brought down. And then I went back and checked. So there's a company called Valiant Pharmaceuticals, I think. They raised the prices of a drug. They raised the price of a drug from $500 to $24,000. They just did it. They call that Tuesday. That's what Tuesday is at a rapacious pharma company. There's also the drug Novartis. This is from a different pharmaceutical company. It costs $475,000, even after taxpayers paid $200 million to create it. So we pay for the creation of it, then a pharmaceutical company takes it, turns right back around, and goes, we're going to charge you $475,000 for that thing you just created. What? We just created it. The fuck are you talking about? And you're going to charge us for the thing we just created? $475,000? So this is what's called price gouging. That's what this is. This is price gouging. Okay? And guess what? It's fine. Hey, that's fine. That's totally fine in the United States of America. That's the free market at work. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing we could do about it. That's just the way the system functions. So, hey, tough cookies, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, find a way to pay for the medicine, and that's all we can say about it. But the thing that brought him down was what? Screwing other rich people out of their money when they invested with him. Guess what? That's also what brought down Bernie Madoff. That's exactly what brought down Bernie Madoff. So price gouge the shit out of regular people all day long, but oh my goodness, if you cross your rich investors even a little bit, well, we're going to come after you. And that's why he's locked up now. And by the way, just to show you how big of an issue this is, there was a DuPont heir. Remember DuPont? I think the chemical company DuPont. A DuPont heir got probation for raping his daughter. So when it's a rich person committing a crime, if that crime is not against other rich people, leniency as far as the eye can see. Remember the case of affluenza? This was a real thing that a judge spoke about. Said, well, listen, this kid didn't know right from wrong and you couldn't expect this kid to act morally and rationally and ethically because he was raised really, really rich and his parents had no rules for him. So he killed somebody, but it's not his fault because he has affluenza. And the kid got off with a light sentence as a result of that. So you will see different justice systems in America for different classes. That's 100% the way it functions. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's Martin Shkreli or the DuPont heir or the affluenza kid, the only time we're really strongly taking down rich people is when they screw over other rich people. And especially when you look at government officials, how many crimes did Hillary Clinton commit and she was able to get away with it? Countless crimes. The Clinton Foundation was nothing but a giant corrupt scam. That's what the Clinton Foundation was, doing favors for world leaders and rich people through U.S. policy when she was Secretary of State, when the Clinton Foundation would take money. Totally get away with it. Noam Chomsky said it, every post-World War II U.S. president would be put to death if we actually held up the Nuremberg laws. So if we held up international law, every post-World War II U.S. president would be killed for their crimes. Look at what Trump's doing right now. Increased drone strikes 432%, killing thousands of innocent civilians. His first military raid as president killed an 8-year-old American girl. This is all illegal, deeply illegal under international law. But if you are rich and powerful, you get away with your crimes. The only time they really crack down on you is when you go after other rich people, screw over other rich people. And it's just really creepy when you see clear examples of it, like what happened with Martin Shkreli. Raising the price of a life-saving drug 5,000%, no crime. Screwing over other rich investors, now we're going to lock you up for 7 years.